speaking about youth power and politics, and like to hear their views on everything that's happening in the country. Plus, what is really ailing this country, and are the youth the ones to liberate the country? We'll find out from them. They're already here with us. We'd like to hear from you at Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. My guest already with me, Juliet Buoga, UON student president aspirant and law student. Thank you for making time. Mark Ouko, youth coordinator, National Students Council is here. Asante sana for making time. Odhiambo Jiro, human rights officer, Vocal Africa. Thank you for making time. And we're still waiting for Kasmuel Makoure, ODM Youth League. To set us off on this conversation, this is what the former Chief Justice, David Maraga, said that is ailing this country. Listen.
Quite a number of political leaders come with vested interests. They want to use their positions for personal gain. And as a result, they come up with quite a number of false theories that don't work. And that's where the problems are. And in a democracy, you need the judiciary, you need the legislature, and you need the executive, as well as independent commissions, to play their role and operate within their spheres of influence, and we'll have a very good country.
And Odhiambo, I'll start with you on this. Do you agree with Maraga that that is where the problem lies? Political leaders, vested interest, personal gain, false theories, lack of rule of law, even in relation to what you can see on the dailies, rewarding yes men, how governors have banned 6.6 billion on joy riders. What is really ailing this country?
Trevor, thank you so much, and thank you, my comrades, for joining. I want to take this opportunity to wish my Muslim brothers and sisters Ramadan Kareem, and I also want to wish my Christian brothers and sisters here in the Lantel. So we pray that we have peace and joy during this season. Secondly, Trevor, it will be very important to just have a moment of silence for our fallen cadres in the Gen Z that lost their lives for the fight of the liberation of this country. Thank you. Thank you, Trevor. We had to do that because, Trevor, we have to historicize our struggles, and without that, then we cannot focus, and we will be unable to achieve what we really want to get. Getting to the issue of former Chief Justice Maraga, is a good friend of mine, is that it is true that this country is rotten. The system is rotten. The people in leadership did not go to those offices with an honest mind. They went there with lies, with false promises, and their intentions were known. And that's why we are saying that as young people, we cannot still be taken through, the corridors of reforms. The country is in such a dire situation that does not need any further reform. What we need is to disband the entire system and take these cartels out of office and build our society afresh. So I agree with Justice Maraga that the only people that we can trust in the liberation of this country are those people that will join the young people in draining the swamp. And three of the most important things that ails this country, as Maraga puts it, one is economy. So any person that tells us any other thing, they talk about, Canaan and all these kind of false hopes, those people are part of the problem. And on the context of economy, if we don't deal with debts, if we don't deal with accountability in terms of expenditure, you can see the front page of the Nation newspaper. 6.6 billion on what? Joyrides. So if we don't deal with, if we are not prudent with our expenditure, if we don't deal with the debts, and we don't deal with corruption, those three important aspects of the economy is what is dear to the liberation of this country. And lastly is the issue of justice, the question of social justice. Young people have been killed, and they continue to be killed money is being looted. There are injustice all over, but there's no political elite who wants to talk about accountability. So our focus remains on that, and that's why we are saying that as young people, there is no difference between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. And there is no difference between Gachagua and Kalonzo and Raila Odinga. And any person that supports them and works with them is part of the problem. And we will look at them in the face and tell them, you are a traitor. It does not matter how much English they speak, how much well they dress, how much high they shout, but as long as they are colluding and working closely with the people whom we feel have put us in this situation, we will deal with them the same way we're going to deal with the criminals in the political class.
Okay.
Thank you.
Juliet, what is the problem ailing this country in your view?
Okay, thank you so much, Trevor. The main problem that is ailing our country is when you talk about, first of all, to begin with matters of accountability.
Sure.
As the young people, what we really need is we want a government that is so accountable. When you look at even, I'm coming from the perspective of a student from a campus, the comrade, representing their interests. We find that the youths have come out to unite as a common force. The reason for this is because we have seen and we believe that when we come out together, we can at least articulate and air out our issues, the main concerns that are affecting us. When we lack accountability and transparency, especially when it comes to matters of the disbursement of funds, for example, the issue to do with HELP, which is now becoming quite a challenge, the new funding model, what we need is accountability. That's why the youths are coming together as a common front, because we are trying to fight the issues about ethnicity, whereby when we get into the positions of power, it's about we are defined by the fact that this tribe has the highest number of people, this one has the smallest number of people. So how do we bring the Kalenjins and the Luos together? How do we bring the Kikuyus and the Ward together? We are trying to do away with that. And if we look at what Justice Maraga said about upholding the rule of law, as the youth, I believe that everyone is obligated to obey the rule of law, because as a country, we cannot be moving forward without adhering, because no one is above the law. And the moment we adhere to the rule of law, we are rest assured that our country is taking a better trajectory, because the moment everyone does everything, you find that there are issues to do with the murder and everything. When we take it out to the street, we have a constitution to govern our rights. And the fact that we have a constitution, we need to adhere to it. The moment we are not heard, we elect our representative and take them to the parliament to represent us. We need them to air out our voices. They need to be our voice. They need to implement bills that are not harmful to us. And the moment they do not do that, you find that we are being put in a position that we are being pressed to the wall. Now we have to take it out to the street. And when we try to express our democratic right, you find that we are now being abducted. There are issues to do with murder and everything, and there's nothing that is being done about it. The moment we adhere to the rule of law, the moment each and everyone is held accountable for whatever is being done, we will have a better country. We cannot just say that we have leaders who are not accountable. We need leaders who are accountable. The youth are rising up to take the positions of power because they believe it is time for us to also rise to the spaces, because the youth forms the 75% population. Because at this moment, we are the majority. And the realization is quite a good thing for the youths. The moment we realize that we can rise to the positions of power, not necessarily even the positions of power, the positions of leadership, we'll be able to lead our people. We'll be able to show them what the way is. Because we are rising up as a crop or a breed of an elite. It is not just people whom we are picking from the villages to be taken into the positions of power. We have been in the university. Sometimes we even have interaction with fellow students. They tell you that the main problem we are having is because sometimes the government do not listen or do not even feel our pain, because we say it, but they're not in those positions to feel our pain. When we talk about issues to do with the new funding model, we may not even ask, we need policies that are going to drive us forward, but we do not want policies that are affecting us, policies that are still pushing us backwards, because we are not from the same social status. And if you look at our campuses, the comrades, we are combined with different people from different backgrounds and everything. So the moment even we bring out the issue of whereby the distribution or even the allocation of the funds, we find that it is being allocated today, it is in 5 bands. We have from the most humble background in stages.
Yeah.
So you find that, we are going against it because our constitution guarantees that we should not discriminate on any grounds.
Okay.
So the moment we do that, we open doors for discrimination.
All right.
Yeah.
Mark?
Well, thank you so much, Trevor, for having me today. The first thing that I think I would want to discount is based on the arguments of my two predecessors here, who have centered their argument majorly around personalities, because once you center your arguments and the problems that are ailing these countries around personalities, then I don't think if we'll be really able to move forward, because when you center your argument between whether it is Raila, Ruto, because the truth of the matter is, whether even if you have Ajiro as the president today or you have Julia or Kasamuel, the problems that are ailing the country will be more or less the same. Because you see, if the problem that is facing this country is a systemic issue, and if you do not have a clear, accountable systematic system well laid out, the problems will be reoccurring over and over again. Now, there is an analogy that I have often been using of recent time, that the problems that are facing the people of Kenya are in two mechanisms. So we have the hardware mechanism of these problems, and we have also the software mechanisms of these problems. The hardware mechanism is where we find people are revolting, people are saying this is the problem, the activists and all that. Now the software mechanism is like what now converts our feelings. What now converts all these things that we are garnishing against to something that is not formidable. And a software mechanism was like that finance bill, something like that is a tipping point to all of us. Now, the second thing that I would want to say is that we need to appreciate the president. President William Ruto has offered a huge space in listening to the young people during the finance bill, when so many people were questioning the president. The president, being the first president in the entire world, is the first president to have ever a platform on X to bring the young people. Let us discuss. He actually even hosted some of us at some point in status and discussed and asked us, what do you think? What do you young people think? And even at the current moment, there is an ongoing committee amongst the principal secretaries who are merging governmental programs on how can we then absorb the young people so that we are able to employ them. And lastly, I will say that I don't think Maraga is one person who I've heard some people trying to say that he should run for president. I don't think Maraga is a character who really inspires hope for change. I don't think he's a character who can create a narrative that Gen Zs can budge on. I don't think Maraga has that aura, that charisma, that mental tipping point that young people can solidify around. So I must say that he is also not as a saint as most people might try to view him, because even during when he was at the helm of the judiciary, it's still the same systemic problems that we are having. So I must say that we need to also appreciate the steps that government has taken under the tenure of President William Samoei Ruto in engaging the young people.
Okay, I have to take a quick break. Kasmul Makoure is joining us now, ODM Youth League. Before you came in, there was a bit of an attack there from Ojiro. You'll give you a chance to respond to it, but that right after the break. So we're still talking about what's really ailing this country, and are the young people the solution to it all? And even here, they seem not to agree on how to deal with it. All right, we'd like to hear from you at Trevor Mbidi at Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. We'll see you in just a bit.